Ice cream and gelato, what is the difference? Gelato these days is a term that's thrown around really loosely. It's very fashionable to sell and make gelato, but obviously Italians have been doing it forever, basically. So what actually is gelato? Gelato is ice cream that is lower in fat and higher in sugars. It's actually served at a slightly higher temperature as well, has less overrun and a little bit more chew to it. Ice cream, on the other hand, is higher in fat, slightly lower in sugar, has more overrun, and doesn't have that dense texture. Stabilizers are used in gelato a lot these days to recreate that creamy mouthfeel that ice cream would ordinarily give you. Now, there's a whole thing about egg yolks for gelato. I'm not a gelato expert, I don't really know that much about it, but some people will say that originally it did or didn't use egg yolks. There seems to be a mix of recipes around the world, so make whatever suits yourself. If you're unsure, an egg yolk here or there is a really good emulsifier just to bring all your ingredients, your fat and waters together. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a bit of both, scoop them up and compare the two. And what better way than to try another flavor or another type of coffee is this. We're going to try a Sakura Coffee grounds. So everything came from Japan that I'm wearing today. We're going to make some of this and we're going to make coffee ice cream and coffee gelato using this Sakura Coffee itself. As discussed, we're going to make the Sakura Coffee and gelato. First thing we need to do though is take all of the milk required for both these recipes and get those coffee grinds sat in there and steeping for a good few hours. All the amounts are in the description below, so you can follow both these recipes exactly if you want to do that. Slowly mix in your coffee grounds until they're really well incorporated and that milk is nice and warm, and then just leave it ticking over on the lowest possible heat for at least half an hour. That enables a really nice strong coffee flavour to infuse into that milk. When that time's up, turn the heat off and then strain the milk through a cheesecloth. You will lose some of the milk. I lost about 10% here, still sat in the coffee grounds. You can just top the amount back up. So we're going to start with the gelato first. Take your coffee infused milk and put that back in a pan. At that stage, add your sugars, your egg yolks, give them a good whisk, and then add your milk powder. Slowly bring the mix up to temperature, whisking consistently. We've brought this up to 60 to 65 degrees centigrade just to make sure that the egg yolk's cooked. We use pasteurized eggs here, so actually you don't need to do this, but it's good practice either way. When that's done, take it off the heat, add it into your container. At that stage, add in your 120 ml worth of cream. We've used whipping cream here, and then put it in the fridge to chill down. The next stage is the ice cream version. It's exactly the same process as you did for the gelato, but the numbers are different. So you can add in your coffee infused milk, add in your sugars, your egg yolks and your skim milk powder. Again, bring it up to 60-65 degrees C, take it off the heat, add it to your container, and then finally chill it down with the cream here, and then put it in the fridge again to chill down completely. When both mixes are chilled, take them out of the fridge one at a time and churn them. The time will depend on the machine that you have, but both these took less than 10 minutes for mine. Whilst your ice cream's churning, it's a good time to mention that we're going to do the next episode in our chocolate series next week. We're actually going to make bloody chocolate ice cream. There's going to be a lot of chocolate ice cream made here, and we're going to discuss the ins and outs and whys. So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. When they're ready, load them into a tub and put them in the freezer for at least a few hours. Okie doke. So, gelato, ice cream, both made from this Sakura Coffee. Let's get some scooped up onto the plate and try each one. Here we go. Gelato, ice cream. Start with ice cream. Very familiar texture, very creamy, lasting flavour, still going. I make my ice cream slightly higher fat than some people do. I find it makes the taste linger even longer. Gelato, technically, the taste will end sooner because there's much lower fat, but let's dig into this one now. Less overrun, denser ice cream, little bit of a chew to it, not too bad. Now that is distinctly the difference. Something that a lot of home ice cream makers will struggle with is actually making ice cream, because ice cream should have a certain amount of overrun. The ice cream you buy in the stores can have anything up to 100% overrun. So that means if you put in 1 litres worth of mix, you can get 2 litres worth of ice cream out of it. Any more than that, it's technically illegal to sell it as ice cream, but it would be labelled as something like a frozen dessert. Now in England, there are no rules or laws as to what you can call anything. We've seen gelato in England at 15 to 18% fat with 25% sugars. We've also seen it where the overrun is obviously 75% based on weight. You can call it what you like, but in certain parts of the world, specifically Italy, there are laws regarding gelato and ice cream and the difference. If you have a home ice cream machine, you are likely going to create some kind of mix in between the two. You're unlikely to achieve the higher overrun required for ice cream, but you also won't achieve the same kind of texture and consistency required for gelato because you're using an ice cream recipe. So actually you're going to create a Frankenstein kind of mix of the two. But that is sometimes why your home ice cream, or often, your home ice cream tastes much nicer than the stuff you buy in the stores because it's creamier, it's denser. You've got that creaminess, high fat content of the ice cream, but with the denseness of gelato, somewhere in between. So that is technically the difference between ice cream and gelato. Ice cream, higher overrun, higher fat, slightly lower sugar. Gelato, lower fat, slightly higher sugar, much less overrun. One final thing to mention is that gelato is technically churned slower than ice cream as well, and that gives you that denser, low overrun final product. So it doesn't really make any difference. They both taste just as good as each other. If you're on a low fat kind of diet, gelato is probably better for you. You are getting more sugar in there as well, so take that into account. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a slight touch on the difference between ice cream and gelato. I'm going to sit here and eat all of this, probably going to make some of this, have massive caffeine overload, and get working on the next chocolate ice cream episode. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.